I will say when it comes to limited run games, I've had my ups and downs with the company. I've been blocked by them on social media and now unblocked by them for whatever reason. One of the co-founders, Douglas Bogart, I have conversations with in DMs, strikes me as a good down-to-earth dude that wants me to understand what the perspective of they've dealt with over the years and the trials and tribulations of him and Josh Fairhurst, the other co-founder of Limited Run Games. And I got to be honest, with what I'm allowed to say about the situation, I think there's a fantastic movie that could be made about this entire situation. It's a really fascinating story. But today we're going to talk about the lawsuit and the fallout from this, from Josh Fairhurst, who is leaving Limited Run Games and announced recently, and then took his Twitter private after that. But first things first, Limited Run Games, I said on X, their lawsuit over allegedly sharing customer video viewing and purchase data with Facebook via tracking tools without consent. A proposed $2.7 million settlement is on the table, which used to sound like a lot of money until I started researching Somalian daycares. Covering customers from 2016 to 2025, though Limited Run Game denies any wrongdoing. So here is the actual case that they had posted publicly. I said Limited Run Games and plaintiffs agreed on a proposed settlement of about $2.72 million to resolve class action lawsuit alleging LRG shared customer data with Meta without consent under the Video Privacy Protection Act. The deal's been filed with court, but needs final approval before completion. Typically, when you get to this phase, it's just being signed off by the judge to make sure no shenanigans, and it's kind of just, it's all good. Limited Run Games denied any wrongdoing, and the court hasn't ruled on liability. The settlement is pursued to avoid further litigation costs and uncertainty. Class members can submit claims forms by January 20th, 2026, and a final approval hearing is scheduled for March 11th, 2026. Josh Fairhurst responded to the Limited Run Games lawsuit, saying they never sold customer data to Meta, stating the issue was use of standard Facebook pixel used by most e-commerce sites, and an old New York ruling bizarrely classified video games with cutscenes as videotapes under an old 1980s VHS law. Other retailers like GameStop and Best Buy were hit with the same suit and also settled despite no data being sold. Now, what you'll notice is Josh Fairhurst has gone private on his account, but what I said here was basically encompassing what he posted. I said, on a personal note, this is so many kind of effed up. Whatever issues I've had with Limited Run Games in the past, painting them as some evil corpo selling data is just plain wrong in this instance, and I won't get behind it here. They got caught in a legal technicality over a common tracking tool, not any sort of intentional malicious behavior. This kind of punishment helps no one. And again, this is not being an apologist to Limited Run Games. They've been a terrible company to so many people for a very long time. But just because you might not like them doesn't mean you want to see them burn for reasons that are not their fault. And I truly feel like that's what happened here, where they just got caught up in an old law and they're like, oh yeah, because it tripped this wire with the VHS tapes, you also are selling data to Meta, and these other companies already settled, so you need to do that too. And when I said Josh Fairhurst went private on his account, this is the co-founder, one of the co-founders. He's gone protected. And why did he do that? Well, here is, and shout out to Nev G for capturing these for me. He sent these to me. This is the post from Josh Fairhurst before he went private. He said, with 2025 drawn to a close, it feels like the right time to announce that I stepped down as CEO at Limited Run Games back in September. I'm still working there as president until March, but after that, I will be scaling back to redirect my focus to new adventures. I made this decision after I found myself presented with several opportunities to help bring dream games to life. Since then, even more irresistible opportunities have found themselves on my doorstep. I know I'd always regret it if I didn't seize the moment and pursue these things. It wasn't an easy decision to make. Limited Run Games has been my life for 10 years. I love what we do and I love the people I get to work with. But I also recognize that Limited Run could benefit from new leadership. Uh, on a personal note here, I think Limited Run Games is done. Like I have not been told that by anyone. I just am getting the sense that this is the beginning of the end of the company, and this is how they're starting to wind it down. But I also recognize that Limited Run Games could benefit with new leadership who will bring fresh perspectives and original ideas to drive LRG through its next 10 years and beyond. Okay. Again, I'll believe that when I see it. Again, you got to remember, Limited Run Games, if it was its own independent company, maybe. They are owned by Embracer Group. They were purchased by Embracer Group, acquired by them years ago. Embracer Group is falling apart at the seams right now, looking to cut costs and destroy anything inside of their company. And it's like a slow, controlled demolition of Embracer Group that's been going on for the better part of 3 years right now. And I do firmly believe that Limited Run Games is going to be a part of that either falls apart or gets sold off in pieces. It's been a wild ride, one that I have never taken for granted. I look forward to continuing to support Limited Run as a fan, a customer, and a partner. With the incredible slate of releases we have planned for the next year, I know the future is bright for LRG. Again, maybe they'll make it the next year, but I don't know how much further it's going to be around for. And he finished it off saying, once you all start seeing what I'll be working on, you'll understand why I couldn't pass any of this up. We only have one chance to live our life, and it's important to live it to the fullest, even if that sometimes requires tough decisions. Here's to an incredible 2026. And then he finished it off saying, with my news posted, I plan to set my account to private tomorrow to take an extended break from social media. I never set out to be a public figure, and I'm looking forward to a long break from that. I want to put my energy into things that matter more, like family and friends. And again, this is coming from Josh Fairhurst, one of the co-founders of Limited Run Games. I've had many interactions with him via just public conversations on social media over the years. He strikes me as a very passionate person that can sometimes let his own vision get in the way of common sense. But at the same time, I think it comes from a place of good. And I think that gets misconstrued from a lot of people because of the results and outcomes. With that being said, though, Time Extensions has a story on this that I wanted to go through as well. They said, Limited Run Games has been my life for 10 years. Josh Fairhurst announces he's stepping away. Limited Run Games co-founder Josh Fairhurst has announced he's leaving the company this year. Fairhurst revealed that he had actually stepped down as company CEO back in September and will be working as president until March 2026, after which he will be scaling back to redirect my focus on new adventures. And everything else I just read here from what he said. Fairhurst established Limited Run Games back in 2015 with Doug Bogart. It has worked with the likes of Sega, Atari, Konami, Treasure, Arc System Works. Didn't they also, not making games with Nintendo, but they had to work with Nintendo to get Switch games out on the platform, and many other major companies to create physical versions of what would typically be digital-only releases. In 2022, Limited Run was acquired by Embracer Group through its Embracer Free Mode Operative Group. And people that don't remember the Embracer situation, that was under the impression that they were going to be getting allegedly a $1 billion plus deal with the Saudis, and that fell through. So Embracer Group was acquiring everything, thinking that they were going to have all the money in the world to pay for everything. Then the deal fell through and everything fell apart. While Limited Run Games has ensured that physical gaming remains a key part of the retail landscape in the modern era, has done amazing things like give the SNES a new version of Doom, has come under fire for production issues, selling dodgy carts, and other problems. Yeah, the soundtracks too. I think the criticism helps us grow and ultimately become better at what we do, said Fairhurst in an interview with Time Extension at the start of 2025. Like any company, we've certainly made mistakes, and it's important for us to recognize those mistakes, internalize them, and use them to improve in the future. In his recent announcement on social media, Limited Run Boss acknowledges that it's been a wild ride, one that I have never taken for granted. I look forward to continuing to support Limited Run as a fan, the customer, and partner. Incredible slate of releases and all this other stuff that I already said. So, yeah, that's the situation with Limited Run Games. Says good. The company has made some very poor choices on his watch. Horrible company made that way by his horrible leadership. I mean, no love lost by people with these guys. Their whole business model is rotten, so it's probably not going to change much. That's the other issue that I've had with Limited Run Games is I think what they had was special, unique, and something that people desired. Then they had situations that they say were out of their control, that were games that were produced that weren't supposed to be sold, and they were sold by one of their ex-employees at conventions, and they weren't supposed to be out there. So those games were worth a lot of money, and he had a whole duffel bag worth of them, and it's almost like manipulating a market and then creating a cost structure. Then you can sell the games for whatever you want them to the customers and then make infinite money. It's just the whole situation is sketch at best. And don't get me started on how they make a limited batch of games and then make another limited batch of those same games that weren't supposed to be made again. The whole point of it was to be, I thought these were exclusive and nobody else was going to be able to get them. Then it turned into, no, we want to be able to give them to as many people as possible that want them. And the business model, they couldn't decide what they wanted because they kept following the dollar instead of the customer. And yes, it made them boatloads of money. But at the end of the day, I think ultimately destroyed what could have been a company that lasted forever, as long as physical media was on these platforms, which I don't know, forever is probably at this point 3 more years. And maybe they saw that too. Maybe that's why they were like, you know what? Get while the getting's good, because otherwise we're going to be out no matter what when all these consoles get rid of the physical media eventually. But yeah, that's the current situation with Limited Run Games. The lawsuit being settled, the co-founder stepping down, and apparently the company is at least planning to exist for the next year. Again, if that happens, okay. If they continue beyond that, I'll be the first one that's shocked. I genuinely don't think that under the current leadership of Embracer Group, it will not survive. Maybe they'll sell it off and it will continue and they'll find a direction that they want to go. But what it's been doing right now is anything but that. But we'll see where it happens, where it goes. But for now, I'll leave that there.